following are committed to nurturing Ashura's traditions and community life. The most striking and most wonderful thing seeker visits to Daniel, she never uses a mobile phone. Whoever wants to contact her has to contact through email. That's the most wonderful strategy that we see today. So let us strongly welcome Mataji, Devi Mataji, whose life and work continue to inspire countless devotees worldwide.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Om Agyantimandasya Gyananjalashalakaya Chakshunmalitam Jena Tasmai Shri Guve Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manupistam Sabaramyanu Buddhale Swayam Rupakaramayam Dadadati Swaparantikam Namam Vishnupada Krishabhisa Buddhale Shrimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namane Namaste Saraswati Deve Govani Pachoyne Nivishesha Shunivari Pasatara Satarine Vanshakapa Dvibhasa Kripa Sinivevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadada Srivasadi Go Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So it is my great honor and pleasure that I have the opportunity to visit you here. I had no clue what beautiful setup you have here with such nice deities and temple, and my God, it's the first time I'm out here. So this is very impressive, very inspiring. On my travels around the world, I will certainly tell devotees about this amazing Gurukul you have here. And I also always like to speak to the youth, because all of you are the future of ISKCON. Yes. So, if we can implant the right things, the right qualities and character building and all that, so then that is very promising for Lord Chaitanya's Sankirtan movement, and I'm sure Prabhupada will be very, very pleased, because he put so much emphasis on Gurukul. So many letters are there where Prabhupada emphasizes. So very nice to see that you are all trying to fulfill Prabhupada's vision. So today I would like to discuss with you all the topic of envy. Envy, the main obstruction within our relationships. So I dare say this topic is relevant for all of us here, right? No matter how old we are, I think we all have that experience. What an ugly feeling it is in the heart to be envious. And very often we try to keep ourselves in this belief that everybody else is so envious, especially of me, but I don't have that. I am not envious, of course not. So, in the 5th canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam, there is one verse where in the word-for-word translation, it says kalaha, meaning the envious, and then in brackets, Prabhupada says almost everyone. So I think, we know Prabhupada has a very unique way of getting things across, So almost everyone means most likely it includes us too, right? We can't think that we are not part of this almost everyone group there. And also let me say that this discussion is not meant to detect the envy in other people's hearts, but it is meant to detect it in our hearts, right? Yes, because what does it mean when we point the finger at others and say, oh yes, that's why he's behaving like this to me, he must be envious. So if we do like that, what does it mean? That we are envious, yes. So let us not allow our envy to manifest in such a gross way, okay? Also, very often we use this term envy, that we are envious of a person who has something which we don't have. But I like to make things a little broader, because envy is actually a certain state of heart. And it comes out in all relationships, even with juniors, with equals, and also with superiors. Because it's a certain consciousness, a certain state of heart. So to begin with, let us be clear, how does envy come about? Why is Prabhupada saying almost everyone in the material world is envious? So how does envy come about? Anybody has some idea? Why are we here envious in the material world? Because we want to enjoy. Exactly. So as soon as we want to enjoy, there will be envy and competitiveness, competition there. So as long as we want to enjoy, there will be envy. And we are in this material world because we want to enjoy. So therefore, Prabhupada says, almost everyone is envious. Yes. So I would like to go with you all through one verse of the Bhagavatam, which very nicely describes how envy comes about towards seniors, how it manifests towards seniors, equals, and juniors. And I would like you to listen very carefully, because, depending on how much time we have, we can collect the different elements in an interactive way, right? Prabhu, one more time. What time do you want me to finish? 6:45. Okay, that gives us a bit of time. Okay. Yes, so this is 4th canto, 8th chapter, verse 34. And maybe no need to look at your mobile phone, because it's no big deal to read the answers from the phone, Better to hear attentively and try to remember, okay? All you kids here, very attentive. So I chant once the Sanskrit. Gunadikan mudam lipset anukusham gunadamat maitrim samanad anvichen taper abhibhuyate. Hang on. I don't want to have this on the screen. Hearing. Let's hear. Because as I said, there's all the answers in the text. So if you see it all there, then it's no big deal to, give the right answer. So I want you to all hear attentively, okay? So translation. Every man should act like this. When he meets a person more qualified than himself, he should be very pleased. When he meets someone less qualified, he should be compassionate towards him. And when he meets someone equal to himself, he should make friendship. In this way, one is never affected by the threefold miseries of this material world. All right, well, for reading, let it be on the screen, but then immediately you switch it off. Okay? Yes, can we do like that? Okay. So let us go through the purport. Prabhupada says, generally, when we find someone more qualified than ourselves, we become envious of him. So here Prabhupada uses it like that term, that we are envious to somebody who's got something which we don't have. When we find someone less qualified, we deride him. And when we find someone equal, we become very proud of our activities. These are the causes of all material tribulations. So interesting, at the last line of the verse it says, in this way one is never affected by the threefold miseries of this material world. So if we learn to act without envy, we will not be unhappy, not be suffering. So, and here Prabhupada again says, these are the causes of all material tribulations. When we are envious, that, ruins all our relationships and gives us so much trouble. The great sage Narada therefore advised that a devotee should act perfectly. Instead of being envious of a more qualified man, one should be jolly to receive him. And instead of being oppressive to a less qualified man, one should be compassionate towards him, just to raise him to the proper standard. And when one meets an equal, instead of being proud of one's activities before him, one should treat him as a friend. One should also have compassion for the people in general who are suffering due to forgetfulness of Krishna. Who are suffering due to forgetfulness of Krishna. These important functions will make one happy within this material world. So one more time, Prabhupada says, if we can just learn how to act without envy, we can be happy. Even though we always preach that we cannot be happy in this world, but actually a person who is non-envious has to be a pure devotee. We said only if we don't want to enjoy, we can be non-envious. So a person who is non-envious, he is actually a pure devotee. And therefore he is, in one sense, he is not part of this material world. He is in his consciousness already, Goloka Vrindavan, so he can be happy anywhere. Right? Yes. So now, let us have a look at these three different relationships. Let us start with our relationship towards seniors. So who can remember what is the non-envious way? How do we receive a senior when we are non-envious? No, now I don't switch it off. Otherwise, what's the use of asking you if you just read from the screen? So, what's the way to receive a person when we are non-envious, a senior?
When we receive a person who is senior than us, like we are non-envious, we should be very pleased.
We should be pleased, we should be jolly to receive him, Prabhupada says. Very good, you were very attentive. So, in other words, when we are envious, we are not so happy to receive him, right? Yes. We think, oh no, now he is coming. Oh, okay. And we ask him, so, oh Prabhu, nice to see you. How long are you staying? Oh, 3 days. Okay, good. And we think, oh, thank God, after 3 days he's going again. And then I have the scene to myself here, right? That's envy, right? Yes. And what else do we do with a senior when we are envious? We do much more than that. We are not only not so happy to receive him, but what else do we do? Prabhupada didn't mention that, but let's use our intelligence a bit. What else do we do when we are envious of a senior? Oh, we are very good at that. Huh? What? We avoid him, yeah. We ignore him. We don't give any attention to him. We pretend that, oh, he is nobody, not worthwhile giving any attention to. And what else do we do? There's something else which is even a little more envious. What do we do? Disrespect. Well, how does that manifest? So what do? We talk bad behind his back, exactly. We criticize, we find faults. Oh, we are all very good at that. And why do we do it? Because we want to reduce his importance, right? And at the same time, we want to establish our superiority. Let us imagine an example. Let us imagine a traveling preacher visits us here, and he leads a kirtan. And then our friend says to us, oh, that was a nice kirtan, wasn't it? And then we say, yeah, it was all right, but we find something, which was not so good. But his tune was a bit strange, but his mridanga playing is not that good. We find something to criticize, to reduce his position. So now, interestingly, even if it is true that his mridanga playing is not so good and that the tune was not so nice, even if it is true, but just the fact that we feel that urge to make the statement means that there's envy in our heart. Yeah. Even if it is true. And we often miss this point. We think, well, it's true. Why can't I say the truth? What's wrong with that? Yes. Modern India, freedom of speech. Can't I say, what I, experience here? I'm just sharing with my friend my kirtan experience. No. Just the fact that we make this negative statement, if we look in our heart and we are honest, we will detect some envy there. A non-envious person will not make that statement, even though he may also feel, well, the tune was a little unusual or whatever, but he will not make that statement because it contaminates the atmosphere. if we, say this negative thing just to put him down. Because indirectly we say, if I had let the kirtan, my mridanga playing is better anyway, and my tunes are also so much nicer. That's actually indirectly what we want to express. And that's why we make such a comment. Yes. So also our previous Acharya, Sridhar Swami, he said, whether it's true or not, talking about faults of a Vaishnava means to blaspheme him, even if it's true. Yeah. So I think this is also relevant for you boys, because we also do this all the time. We talk about faults of others, yes. And then we are blaspheming a devotee, and we know this is the first offense to chanting the holy name, So this will disturb our progress if we do this, right? So now, what's the non-envious way to relate, to associate with a senior? We said already, we are pleased to see him, we are jolly to receive him. What else do we do? How do we associate with seniors? What do you think? Come on, boys. I want to hear some answers here. Yes.
We give respect to them. We are envious. We are not envious that we have more knowledge, and we are take to at least whatever experience or knowledge the person which is superior than us.
Yes. So we are eager to hear from this person. We inquire, right? And what else do we do? Yeah, respect, but how does it manifest? What do? We hear and inquire and... Yes, ready to serve. Pariprashnena sevaya, right? So that's not only towards Guru, but towards anybody who's got more experience than we have. Very important that we are eager to serve and we are eager to inquire. And these two aspects, they enhance each other. The more we serve, the more we want to hear and inquire. And the more we hear and inquire, the more we want to serve. And. So these are very important principles of taking advantage of the presence of somebody who has more experience than we have, right? So now let us move towards our relationship with juniors. When we are envious, what do we do when we are envious towards juniors? Like the older boys towards the young boys, what do? We try to?
We try to overlook them with our pride of knowledge.
Yes. And what else do we do? Yes?
We oppress them.
Yes, we push them down. We have this mood, okay, I want you to come up, but definitely not higher than me, right? You always stay down there and I will always be up here, Yeah, so that's the envious mood. We don't want them to be more successful and glorious than we are. We want to keep them down. Yes, very true. And what else do we do? Yes?
We give them trouble.
Huh?
We give them trouble.
We give them trouble. Yeah. We make fun out of them in front of others just to make him look foolish, all this mobbing and all this kind of stuff. Yeah, this is actually envy. Yes, Let's be clear in that. Just giving them trouble just to establish, oh, I'm superior, This should not be done. This is some nasty things. It contaminates our hearts if we behave like that, and it contaminates the other's heart, Not a nice thing to do. But now it's so common, among small kids, they give each other trouble and put each other down and tease each other, and my God, It's all envy. Let's be clear, let's make the diagnosis here, And with envy in the heart, how can we please Krishna and Prabhupada, What else? Yes, they're in the back there. Huh? We gang up on them. Oh my God, it's getting worse and worse here. Yes. Yes, all kinds of nasty things, ganging up on them and mobbing them and pushing them down. Yes. Even when we unnecessarily, constantly chastise and correct people, I don't know, maybe some of you older boys are in charge of the younger boys or something, or sometimes even parents, teachers. Well, we are all not pure devotees. We all have these tendencies in our hearts. So when we unnecessarily, constantly, harshly, always chastise, and correct and, putting them down, this is also, we have to be careful and look in our heart. Maybe there is some envy there, Yes. So we have to be very careful. Also, when we delegate a task to others, like the envious way of delegating, we have that mood, either you do it or I do it. And okay, good luck, you want to do it, okay, you do it. And we don't follow up, But non-envious way of delegating is when we follow up. How are you doing? Do you need some help? Do you need more money? Do you need more manpower? If we delegate like that, then it shows we want them to be successful. But if we say, okay, you do it, good luck, maybe we hope that he will not be so successful. And then we can say, just see, I knew you can't do it, but you wanted to do it. See, that's what comes out when you do it. So I know I should have done it. I would have done it much better. So yeah, these things can sneak in. And we often don't even identify them because they're all rather subtle, So non-envious way of delegating is that we want that person to be successful and we will follow up. We will want to do everything to support him, Yes. So now what's the non-envious way, non-envious behavior towards a junior? What did Prabhupada say? Can anybody remember what Prabhupada said? Let me see the other boys. Yes. We should treat them with compassion. Exactly. So that means we compassionately, we want to reach out, we want to affectionately uplift them and encourage them and inspire them and make them more glorious and successful than we are. That would be the non-envious way, right? Yes. Actually, Srila Prabhupada, he was such a perfect example of a personality who is 1,000% non-envious. He could connect with anybody, with a small child, with a hippie, with a drunkard, with a scientist, with a Christian priest, just with anybody. And he knew exactly how to uplift them. And sometimes Prabhupada was very heavy, calling people fools and rascals and mudhas, you know. But because Prabhupada was not envious at all, people could feel that. And they could feel actually Prabhupada says these words for their benefit, because he is their most well-wishing friend. So, but we cannot imitate Prabhupada. When we call people fools and rascals and mudhas, there's most likely a little bit of pride and envy there, right? So we have to be very careful that we are not simply imitating Prabhupada. Okay, so now let us have a look in our relationships towards equals. What is the envious way of behaving towards equals? Anybody remembers what did Prabhupada say? Yes? Envious. You're a step ahead of us. What did Prabhupada say? Yes, Prabhupada said we are proud of our activities, right? We are chanting our own glories, trying to impress people how great we are, right? Let us imagine an example. Let us imagine two not so mature and advanced preachers meet. And one says to the other, "Oh, I was just in New York attending Rath Yatra, and imagine they asked me to lead the kirtan. You want to have a look here on YouTube? I'll send you the link. I was leading the kirtan, and then at the stage program, I was giving the main speech. There was also other swamis there, but they must have been tired. So they asked me, to speak. And then I went to Los Angeles, and again, Rath Yatra. I was invited to lead the kirtan and give the speech, and. So we carry on and on and on what we've all been doing. And then at the end we say, and what about you, Prabhu? What have you been doing? And then by then the other person feels, oh my God, he's so great and I'm a nobody, So you won the competition. So in other words, the mood amongst equals who are envious, the mood is, okay, we are equals, but actually I'm a little superior and I will prove it to you, right? Yeah, so that's the mood amongst equals who are envious. There's that competition there. Who is a little more experienced, more senior, right? I'm sure you boys have that experience too. Amongst equals, there's immediately competition, right? Yes. And this is not so nice a way of associating, because it's envy there, right? So now, how do we associate when we are non-envious amongst equals? We should make friendship. Yeah, that's what Prabhupada says. But can't we also make friendships with seniors or juniors? Yes. So what is the special thing amongst the friendship amongst equals who are non-envious? There's a very special type of friendship. What do they do? Yes. Huh? They
develop together and they go through up and downs together.
They go through up and downs together. Good answer. What else? They help each other. Well, there is also a certain competition there, but it's very different than the competition amongst envious equals. So what's the competition like amongst equals who are non-envious? Huh? Well, what kind of competition? A healthy competition? Now, what do they do? What do they do amongst two equals who are non-envious? What do they do? Appreciate the other. Yeah, we are getting closer. Yes? Huh? Encourage each other. Well, out of Vaishnav humility, they see themselves as junior. They see the other person as more experienced. And therefore they push each other forward. That's what they do. That one says to the other, "Oh, you Prabhu, you give the class. I want to hear from you." And the other one says, "Oh, Prabhu, you lead the kirtan. Your kirtans are so dynamic and spiritually so charged." So out of Vaishnav humility, they feel, no, the other person is more advanced, right? And in this way, they push each other forward. And that's exactly the mood in Goloka Vrindavan. It is described that the gopis, they feel more bliss pushing the other gopis towards Krishna and helping them, assisting them to make pleasing arrangements for the Lord, rather than pushing themselves forward. Yes, that's the mood in the spiritual world. So, if we ever want to get there, we have to develop that mood, right? Pushing the others forward, let them get the glory and the credit and, you know, yes. That's the special mood amongst equals who are non-envious. And what else is there? What else do two equals do when they are non-envious? Yes? They help each other in the time of need. Yeah? What else? What else do they do? There's one thing, as we said, they treat each other as more experienced. So what does that mean? They serve each other and they inquire from each other too, right? Yes. So, and that inquiry is very intimate and confidential, that they ask each other about their secrets in their spiritual life. Something which we can only do amongst equals, you know? So let's say one says to the other, "Oh, Prabhu, you've been a brahmachari for 35 years distributing books. How do you do it? What's your secret?" You know? And then the other one says, "And you, Prabhu, you've been married for 35 years. What's your secret? You know, how do you manage everything? You know, and raising kids and still serving and chanting and making contributions and. So what's your secret?" So there's very intimate sharing happening, which we can only experience on the levels of equals. You know, with seniors or with juniors, we cannot so intimately inquire and share. But equal, we can. So that is a special thing in the friendship amongst equals, very special. So now my question to you, what do you think, which relationship is most purifying? With seniors equals juniors, what do you think? Yeah, so you're right. Good. Many people, they say with seniors, and then they say with juniors, and then finally they get it. Yeah, with equals. Of course, with seniors, especially when we are younger in Krishna consciousness, we also get a lot of benefit. But amongst equals, that's where we have to show whether we are humble servants or whether we want to be superior, right? So the most pinching and biting envy from the most hidden corners of the heart will come to the surface in equal association, right? Because associating with very senior devotees, not so difficult, because we can hope that some of their glory splashes over to us. Look, it's always me next to Guru Maharaj, almost me there, always me in the picture. So he is the most glorious and I'm right next to him. I'm the next glorious, Yes. And with juniors, also very easy to surround ourselves with juniors and say, yes, I'm their humble servant. But amongst equals, that's where we have to show true color, whether we want to be servant or whether we want to be just that little bit more advanced and superior. Yes. So in the Bhagavatam, we have some stories showing the difficulty of equal association. What do you think? Which story do I have in mind? Anybody can guess? I have one particular story in mind. That is, what? I can't hear. Exactly. That's the story I'm always sharing. Exactly. Well, Indra had 100 horse sacrifices, Prithu Maharaj only 99. Everything was fine. But then as soon as Prithu Maharaj did 100th horse sacrifice, what happened? You boys know what happened? What did Indra and his followers do when Prithu Maharaj wanted to do the 100th horse sacrifice? He stole the horse. Yes, he stole the horse out of envy. So Prithu Maharaj cannot do the 100th. So Indra has 100, Prithu Maharaj 99. He stole the horse. And then the horse stealing was going back and forwards. Yeah. See, most of our tension and conflicts in the world, outside ISKCON, inside ISKCON, comes from this equal association, to share our influence with somebody similarly influential. This is a challenge for the false ego, When we are influential and then somebody else comes, then we may be afraid, or maybe people will like him or her more, and maybe that person will be more popular and influential, and then I'm pushed aside, and we don't like that. You understand? Yeah, and there's another nice story. I'm not sure if you will guess what I'm thinking of. Yeah, that's also there. but I'm thinking when Lord Brahma wanted to visit the Lord in Vaikuntha, and then the doorkeepers asked, "Oh, who are you? Which Brahma are you?" So, and then our Brahma got all irritated. "What do you think? Which Brahma? Don't you know I'm Lord Brahma?" So, and what did the Lord do? What did he do? Just to give our Lord Brahma a little bit of eco-association, he called all the Lord Brahmas from all the universes, right? And then our Lord Brahma realized, oh, there's so many Brahmas. I have only 4 heads, but some of them have 10 heads, 100 heads, 1,000 heads. So he became a little more humble, right? So the Lord gave him eco-association. So yes, for us also very purifying to have this eco-association. Yes. So maybe before we open up for questions, with your permission, maybe I'll quickly say a few words about the books I published. Right? Yes? Because see, I have an institute for spiritual culture. I am based in Mayapur because for the last 24 years I have been preaching in Bangladesh. Anybody here has been to Bangladesh? Nobody? Very special place, even though, yes, I know sometimes there's a bit of problems there. But yeah, I've been preaching there for over 20 years, and in a few weeks I will go again, do a little tour in Bangladesh. Bangladesh, very special place. Why is it so special? Who knows? Yes, anybody knows why Bangladesh is so special? Huh? Anybody knows? Anybody has heard about the glories of Bangladesh? Not only him, so many of Mahaprabhu's associates come from East Bengal, which is now Bangladesh. So many. Like Advaitacharya, Pundarik Vidyanidhi, Rupa and Sanatan Goswami, Narottam Das Thakur, even Mahaprabhu's parents, Jagannath Mishra, Sachi Mata. Actually, Sachi Mata conceived Mahaprabhu in her womb when she was living in Bangladesh. So that's why all the Hindus in Bangladesh, they feel Mahaprabhu appeared in our country. They call it Mahaprabhu Desh. Yes, yes. So they are much more Mahaprabhu conscious than in West Bengal. Much more. Yes, so many holy places are there. So anyway, because over more than 20 years I've been preaching there, so I have learned so many things, how our spiritual, our Vaishnava philosophy is meant to be lived. Actually, my whole worldview got transformed over 25 years there. So, and that inspired me to establish this Institute for Spiritual Culture, because not everybody can have that good fortune and spend so much time there. So even compared to India, like different planets, India has become very westernized, very much. I've been coming to India for 35 years, every year. So I've seen how India has changed, But Bangladesh is like India 50 years ago, yes. Very traditional, yeah. So, and that's why I established this Institute for Spiritual Culture, and I'm teaching courses in Mayapur, and now I'm putting the courses in book form so it can reach more people. right? So the first book, Spiritual Culture, Krishna's Divine System. This is all about the man-woman gender confusion, that man and woman are not equal. The equality is on the level of the soul, but on the level of the body, man and woman are very, very different. And we women are actually very powerful. We have a very powerful Shakti. And Bhagavatam says we should use that energy to empower the men and not to compete with them. Yes, but because of this man-woman equality, so, hang on.
We have decided, so just be seated for 10 more minutes.
Yes.
That is to do the aarti, but we will be here, please, okay?
Yeah. So now, because of this man-woman equality, the women compete with the men, and that is very destructive for the men. So even though the whole book is about women, many temples in India, they use this book as a handbook for brahmachari training, so that the brahmacharis also understand the important role we women are meant to play, and that this man-woman equality puts actually the whole human society upside down. Yeah. We have to understand this deeply, and Prabhupada says it all. It's all in the Bhagavatam, but still, even in ISKCON, not so easy for us to really accept it, because we are so programmed and conditioned by this equality thinking, Yeah, very important topic. Very useful for married life. It has saved a lot of marriages already. Yeah. So then we have sheltering relationships. This is about the importance of having a counselor. That just having guru, diksha, shiksha guru, not enough. We need a counselor, a well-wishing friend who helps us to move forward, who helps us to balance our life, no matter in what phase of life we are. My favorite example is always Bharat Maharaj in the Bhagavatam. His problem was he didn't have a counselor. He was all alone in the forest, and he got all overwhelmed and attached with a deer. He didn't have anybody who tapped him on the shoulder and said, hey, it's enough with the deer now. Get back to your sadhana. So even on the level of bhava, very important to have a counselor. Yes, we lost a lot of devotees because we did not understand this. And actually the topic we discussed today on envy, it is in this book. Yes. And there's also a chapter on culture of correcting others, culture of respect, so many important things. Or the qualities we have to serve as a counselor, and. Then we have the false ego, our constant companion and troublemaker. Yes, this is even interesting for the young boys too. They also have false ego. False ego, very subtle. Often we don't recognize, and we can very nicely feed and boost the false ego, showing off instead of subduing and dissolving it. Like kirtan can be a very good opportunity to feed and boost our egos. Or sometimes we massage each other's egos. All these things are going on. And in this book is also a whole chapter about chanting the holy name. It's like a summary of a holy name retreat. How to chant in japa and kirtan, that it actually subdues the false ego. And then we have Entering the Grihastha Ashram. This is a handbook for matchmaking. How to see that a boy and a girl are compatible for marriage. Here in India, we need a bit of help with this. People only look at caste and money, you know? And I meet so many mismatched, unhappy couples from Indian families because they don't give the two enough time to talk. So here in this book you have a list of over 200 topics which the boy and the girl should discuss in the presence of the parents or matchmaker or counselor. They have to talk about important things of life, you know? Not just 2 times 20 minutes and then the deal is made. This is not enough, you know? Yeah, so very important. Otherwise, people will drop the whole matchmaking and they want the love marriage, which I like to call lust marriage. Doesn't sound so romantic anymore. So yeah, this is important for parents or for counselors and. And then we have Family Life as an Ashram, Secrets of Success. How to create this culture of bhakti in our home. So many practical things, you know, and if that culture is there, then the kids very naturally, they grow into Krishna consciousness. And in this book is also a whole chapter about physical intimacy in marriage. How to live this principle of no illicit sex life. There's a bit of confusion. I did quite some research. I came across interesting instructions and episodes with Prabhupada, which hardly anybody has heard. And that adds a whole different angle to the topic. Yeah, so I hope this book will make our family life more Krishna conscious and at the same time emotionally balanced and healthy. So if any of you would like to get some books, these last 3 books are 350 rupees each, and the first 2 are 300 rupees each. So many people get the whole set, that's 1,650. And you can pay cash, or if anybody agrees to let me use their QR code, then we can take that too.
So we keep a few books in the library that the group will pay for it. And the students, because they don't have money, so they have an interest account. So if you're interested, you can just make a note of your name and you can deduct it from the interest account. That's possible. And for the campus teachers, if you want a copy, we can use the temple QR code and the group can pay.
Yeah, and the boys can also get a present for their parents, you know. Yeah, so you're going home now on holiday, right? Yeah, so get them a little gift for Diwali, something useful. Okay, so what do we do? Shall we finish?
Okay, so let's first of all thank Mataji. All of you like this session? Any practical? Let's thank Mataji. Hare Krishna,
Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
So the traffic is going on. So 5 minutes takes the hyper question answers. We don't get this opportunity again and again. So
Can we maybe ask to ring the bell a little softer?
okay, so let's practically apply. We saw that what we should do when we meet someone over. And one, we should be joyful and eager to hear. And you will ask questions. So let's see. Please ask some questions.
But Mataji, how can this condition of
Yeah, good question. I have 5 steps which I recommend. And they're very simple and practical, and they work. Yeah? I'll quickly tell you the 5 steps. So step number 1 is always hearing about the topic. That's why I like to discuss it. Because unless we become conscious how envy manifests, no chance for us to improve, you know? So hearing always is step number 1. So we wake up from our unconsciousness. Prabhupada was saying, before becoming Krishna conscious, we have to become conscious first. So hearing is the first step. Then after hearing, hopefully we desire to do something about it. You know, hopefully some of us here, we realize, oh my God, I have it all towards seniors equals juniors. I better do something to get rid of this. You know, with this envy in the heart, I cannot go back to Goloka Vrindavan, no chance. So desiring to free ourselves is step number 2. Then step number 3, to be introspective and honest. Always looking in our hearts. Why am I saying this? Why am I doing this? What just took place in this exchange I had? Why do I have this bad feeling now? So we have to really introspect and be honest. It has to become like our second nature. And that's the point where we need a counselor. Because often by ourselves, we cannot see. Because false ego, envy, they block our ears, our intelligence, we can't recognize. But if we have this well-wishing friend, he can explain to us, you know? Yes, he can tell us, hey, you're overdoing it, and, you know, don't defend and just cool down. You know, we need that well-wishing friend, otherwise we cannot recognize. So introspection and honesty, very important step. Without that, we cannot actually make advancement, because the contaminated intelligence can find the justifications for anything, you know? Yeah. So then step number 4, we catch ourselves doing the wrong thing. That's the step number 4. You know, that we catch ourselves doing the wrong thing. Oh, again, I had to make that comment just to put the person down and criticize, say something bad behind his back, and we catch ourselves. So that's already progress, because so many times we were doing the wrong thing and we didn't even notice. We didn't catch ourselves. But at least now we catch ourselves. Oh, I shouldn't have done that. Yes. So now my question to you, what is step number 5? After catching ourselves doing the wrong thing, what do we do? Ask forgiveness, yeah, but what else? Try to rectify, well, not so easy. So what do we do? Well, if it was just so easy, you know, we can tell ourselves so many times, I'm not going to do it, but then 2 days later we will do it. So what do we do? Pray, yes. Cry out to Lord Nrsingadev. Lord Nrsingadev with his sharp nails. He is the expert heart surgeon. Because see, envy, false ego, they're like Hiranyakashipus in the heart. So we ourselves, out of our own strength, we cannot free ourselves from this. We actually have to invite Lord Nrsingadev to pull these tendencies out. We've been carrying them for so many lifetimes, you know? Yeah, we can't do it. But our problem is that we have this hope that this envy will give us some juicy fruits, some joy and pleasure, and that's why we are hanging on to it, you know? So we have to seriously beg Lord Nrsingadev. He prepares our heart to approach Radha Krishna. Yes. So, and if we do these last 3 steps again and again, you know, being introspective and honest, catching ourselves doing the wrong thing, crying out to Krishna, if we do these steps again and again and again, then sooner or later we come to step number 6, that we find ourselves in a situation where we catch ourselves doing the right thing. And we realize, oh wow, 2 weeks before I would have done something else, but now I could just let it go by. I didn't have to make the nasty comment and, you know? So, and then we see that actually it works. Krishna gradually frees us from these unwanted patterns of behaviors. So we have to constantly do this internal work. And only then we can transform unwanted patterns of behaviors into positive and uplifting patterns of behaviors. Very simple process. I'm following it myself and I have that experience. Yes, it works. But you have to keep at it constantly. Yeah. Okay. Shall we accept one more question or shall we leave it like that? Is there another question? Right in the back there we have a question from somebody who we have not heard anything yet. Come a little closer, Prabhu. Say it again. If somebody has...
Normally, my question again that if somebody has an envious nature, naturally, is that going to considered as a boon or a curse?
Well, how can it be a boon? You know, we just discussed how nasty envy manifests. So obviously it's not a boon. As we said, it comes because we want to enjoy, you know. It's actually Hiranyakashipu mentality. Let's call it like that. So obviously it's not a boon, but it's also in one sense not a curse. It simply is part of our conditioned and contaminated nature. So, and the whole process of Krishna consciousness, you know, is meant to purify our heart. But we have to do the internal work. Sometimes our practice is rather external, you know. We just go externally through the motions and we try to become a more and more important person there. But internally, we don't free ourselves from all these things. So we have to have an internal, you know, mood and internally working on our hearts, you know. Otherwise, we cannot even really receive the benefit which the holy name carries, you know. Okay, so I have the feeling people are getting a little restless here.
So actually, our time is over. Maybe we can just chant Lakshmi Pranam together because you just told that we should do it.
Okay.
One question. Can you take one question? Okay.
Sure.
One last question. And then we chant Lakshmi Pranam together. So thank you for Lakshmi Pranam now.
Yeah, not so easy. It depends a little bit how strong we are spiritually. You know, if we are very strong, then it will not affect us. And we maybe can, through our association, we can uplift that person. But if we are not so spiritually strong, then it may contaminate our heart. And then maybe better to keep a little distance, some little social distancing, as we had to do during pandemic, you know. So it's because it's actually like contagious. If we associate closely with envious people, then it ignites our envy in our heart too, you know. That's why actually, interestingly, there is a rule of Vaishnava etiquette that we should not correct others when we are envious, because even the perfect correction will contaminate that person's heart if it is given with envy and false ego. So we should never correct somebody in a huffy, angry, agitated, irritated mood, because even if the correction is perfect, it will contaminate that person's heart. So yeah, we have to be careful, you know. But then again, as Prabhupada says, almost everyone is envious, so we can't just lock ourselves in a room and not associate with anybody out of fear. But you know, we have to start on ourselves and be careful how we treat others, that we don't put them down and, you know. And then this will also help other people too to overcome their envy. Right? Okay. No, one of you. So thank you so much for your kind attention. And if I don't see you again, then I wish you all the very, very best. So we do have another program tomorrow, right?
Yes, Mataji, we just discussed what the program tomorrow after this. So, Shri Mataji is after this, so she's...
Okay.
Yeah, so we just discussed about it. So we just conclude the program in Darshan Pranam, and after that the books are available. And of course, after this we have Damodar Stakam at 7:15.
Okay.
So if you just want to go out, then you can come back, or you can still be inside.
Okay.
So,
thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki, Samaveda Bhaktivinoda ki, Gaura Premanandi.
the best option is to pray to Darshan to remove all the bad qualities from my heart, especially envy also. So let's stand Darshan Pranam together. Okay? No.